This is so exciting. I don't think I've ever been on a Twitch stream before.
Yes,
I've watched
YouTube,
a lot of Twitch streams.
It's YouTube and Twitch.
At the same time, yeah.
Oh, this is dope. So, hi, I'm James. I'm executive editor for Youth Audience at the BBC, which is the UK's public broadcaster. We're one of the biggest broadcasters in the world. We have
one of the best.
So if you say so, we'll take it.
If only we didn't have to use a VPN to watch BBC content. That's a rights issue.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were lucky. We reached so many people. I think we reach 500 million globally every week. And we commission. What's great is I work in our TV department, so we have lots of shows that are commissioned in the UK but reach globally as well. So, we're the home of Peaky Blinders,
Doctor Who, of course.
Doctor Who, which is in our Roblox.
Was very famous as well.
Sherlock was very popular.
My parents are going to be
The Office, of
super
course.
happy now. They're watching as well, so I love Doctor Who. So
okay, that's fine. Get them on Roblox. We have a Doctor Who bit of Roblox. They can go play. Go meet the Doctor.
Yeah,
they're old though.
we were a BBC household, so we actually watched more BBC than Dutch, Belgian broadcasts.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. That's how I learned English, for instance, is because we always had the teletext 888 on to have the captions and the subtitles. So that's why I was always reading what was there, and that's how I learned English.
Oh, that's fun. So the bit I work in our youth department, and we have shows like RuPaul's Drag Race. So I love the idea of learning English from Drag Race. Like, probably quite rude, I suspect.
What was it? Saturday morning? What was that?
Saturday. Yeah, that's much more sensible. Okay. We can send you some other comedies.
Wait, was Peppa Pig BBC? No.
I don't think that one is us.
Teletubbies was.
Teletubbies?
First version was BBC, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm too old and too young at the same time to remember.
For the public broadcast in Belgium for 10 years, the VRT. And we made Tic Tac recently. It's an old 80s or 90s.
I think it looks like it's from the 70s.
And yeah. I mean, everything we do looks like it's 10 years old.
If things are made in Belgium in the 80s, it looks like it's made in the 70s because the 70s only came to Belgium in the 80s.
In the budget of the 70s.
Yeah, we redid Tic Tac. Have you heard of Tic Tac before?
No.
Because it's I think we sold that to loads of other countries. I would have thought
but that's
BBC
probably
might have been one of them, but apparently not.
I'm now so old that I can't remember any children's television is the problem, and I don't work in kids' TV.
Yeah, that's CBeebies.
It's just the youth department, not that the baby department.
It's confusing.
Okay,
16 plus.
16 plus.
Yeah.
The ideal segue to explain. So, youth department BBC, what do you do?
Yeah, so even though we're UNWRAP and it's a games conference, I'm not a games maker. I should stress.
It's not a games conference, right?
It's not. Oh.
It's in digital arts and entertainment.
Well, then I'm perfect. Then I'm all those things. So that actually helps me a lot. So what I do is I work thinking out what content should we make for young people, essentially. So between 13 to 34-year-olds, pretty much. And
yes, I'm still young. Okay.
Yes, I know. I'm just tipping out, which is so depressing. But what we do is we look across different sort of user needs and different platforms to see what the opportunities are. So I work across generative AI, social media, and gaming, and we have a partnership with TikTok called Creator Lab, which is where we take creators and move them onto broadcast TV. We have some social media verticals. We have YouTube entertainment shows. And then increasingly over the past sort of couple of years, we've got really much more into gaming because we've sort of really seen that Gen Alpha, Gen Z are like a gaming generation. They're an interactive generation. There are now more gamers in the UK than not gamers. Majority of the UK population game, like 57%, I think. Awesome. Which, mobile's really driven that as well.
Yeah.
So we have to think, well, how can we create content for them? And Roblox, Fortnite, these live service games, we're like, well, we can start to get into these spaces and play quite easily. Not that easily, but they're
accessible.
Yes,
as a company, right?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can go onto them. They're a bit like YouTube. They're like a route to market. You don't have to launch a console game, market a console game. Like, I think any games developer will tell you how hard it is to launch a game. So the idea that we're not games developers, we can't play in that world. But Roblox, Fortnite, there's an audience there. There's different mechanisms. We have lots of great IP we can take into those spaces, and people love them, and we can kind of expand their world. So we started doing that. So we have Fortnite experiences, we have Roblox experiences, our two big ones at the moment.
And did you start all of this, or where did you come in?
It's Kind of. Like, I'm lucky that I work in a team. There's about 7 of us, and we have like commissioners. And what we don't make games. We work with development agencies, producers, and we commission them essentially. And so yeah, I worked across. We went into Fortnite about 2 years ago, and we took the Traitors, which we have a Traitors UK, which is like it's massive. I don't know what it's called in.
Is that Verraders?
That's Verraders.
Yeah, we have it as well.
Big.
It's super big heroes.
Yeah.
It's like werewolves. And,
It's werewolves.
Werewolves on a budget.
Exactly. I think it's like the most. Someone told me it's like the most franchised TV show in the world or something like last year, because it's bought so much, because there's one in every country has
like
a Traitors.
Idol or something, or what's it called?
Pop Idol,
or the Masked
Big
Singer.
Brother.
Oh yeah, Masked Singers also.
Yeah.
super
Big Bro's
But I
also
think-
everywhere.
Traitors in particular.
Like
they're
the
really-
Masters.
and then, you guys, I remember because we had a Traitors game that was developed by a Belgian gaming developer.
Who?
Triangle? No.
I can't remember who it was by, but I should know this for this conference. But I should have checked. But I didn't really work on that one. But we had that on our own platforms. And then, so we took Traitors into Fortnite, and we also took a show called Rec, which is this drama. It's like aimed at young people. It's by the writers of Sex Education, and it's basically a comedy horror.
Oh yeah. I've heard of this.
It's a cruise ship basically, and there's a killer duck on board. Who kills slowly, just works his way through. It's great. And then there's a bear in the second series. It's a brilliant show, and it's kind of perfect for Fortnite, because you kind of got That's one thing we think a lot about, is like, what is the right IP to go into Fortnite. So we took the killer duck into Fortnite with this company called Metavision, who were great, and that was about 2 years ago. And that was the start of doing this, and we sort of saw that this. Like, there's an audience for it. People will spend time with it. People will play with it. People will talk about the shows. People post videos about the shows. So we sort of realized there's something here, and that then led us to Roblox.
Community driven as well. Then
it's all exactly. And we sort of realized that there's two things. It's like people playing the game, and there's people talking about the game. And increasingly, what we try to do now is things that are quite stunty and like surprising. And we have a Roblox world, and we did the election into Roblox, like the UK general elections. We held the world's first election in Roblox, which got the most coverage and interest of anything we've done in Roblox, more than Doctor Who, which we were shocked by.
Wow.
But
how did you market that? Like,
it's just organic.
We made like a game at the front. So we have this permanent game in Roblox called Wonder Chase, which you guys should check out, which has got like Doctor Who in it. It's got lots of our biggest stars, and then we built the front of it. We built the game basically, and you had to help a cat. There's a famous cat called Larry the cat, who's a civil servant in England, who lives in our version of the White House, Downing Street, and he catches the mice. Yeah, and he's like famous in Britain. Everyone loves Larry.
I'm wondering how that brainstorm went. Like, you were going to your boss to pitch this, or I don't know how it works, right? But hypothetically, like, okay, so we have a game for young kids, because Roblox is what demographic are you targeting there?
We target sort of 9 to 15-year-olds is kind of the sweet, like sort of between those sort of age ranges. So a little bit older, but yeah, so it's not like it is getting older as a platform, but we're looking at sort of teens in that space. Like,
we have an election, we have 9 to 15-year-olds, and we have Roblox. Perfect match. And he was like, I'm in.
I was like, in this scenario, I was the boss. I said to the team, I was like, the election's happening. Like, even though they can't vote, the election's a big deal. If you're a kid, you know about the election. So election day, it'll be the thing you're talking about. It's like it's a moment the whole country talks about. So not many moments. It's like, World Cup finals,
Olympics,
elections. There's not many things,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Eurovision, coronations, things like that. Yeah. It's kind of something that happens that everyone talks about. So it's kind of, even if they can't vote, everyone's interested. Their parents talking about it. That's in schools. So I was just like, the election's up. Like, how can we do something? This would be cool. And then the team went and we're like, okay, so how can we turn this not great idea into something that's useful? And they were like, let's use the cat, because they knew about the cat. And we were really lucky. We worked with a children's department who are like the co-makers of our Roblox game. And they're like, they know how to do this stuff. So they were like, okay, we'll go get like our news team in. We'll go get the cat. We know how to do this. We've got this. So yeah, I was lucky. It was just more like, I got to take all the credit for like everything I do while other people were making me look great. So it was kind of that sort of scenario.
Yeah, I think we're finally getting to that point as well here in Belgium, because we had a game with a dog for the public broadcasting. Did you see that?
Did we?
There's a Roblox game by
Roblox.
FC de Kampioen.
Yeah. So we have
right,
this
yeah.
very old TV show that's been off the air for 20 years, I think.
But it has
And
been
now they
going
made-
on reruns
Yeah.
for...
Oh, is this the one that just came out?
Yeah, with a little dog and
The guys were showing me that. It looks awesome. And loads of people are playing it.
The ads
I
are
get it.
wonderful.
Yeah,
See,
especially
like-
because they let the original actors play the game. But yeah, it's a show from the 80s. So they're very
They're
old at this
not
point.
in touch with Roblox.
They don't play video games, and then
We're
they're
not
playing.
in touch with Roblox.
No.
Yeah, it's so funny, but yeah, it's funny that then even though you think on paper this is a miss, this is a miss, this is a miss, it still finds its audience because it's Roblox, and I think it's a very eager audience at Roblox. They're looking for content there. It's not like most gamers are consumers. They wait until they get advertisements or something get advised by them. I feel like with Roblox, there's still discoverability. Like
Yeah.
people go out and discover.
Massively so. And you can the great thing about Roblox is you can get people to it like through, like if your video pops off on social, we'll see a spike in our audience, or you can market it in different ways, and there's different things you can do. Yeah, so it's 100, and it's like YouTube. Like people aren't, you can't hope that people are coming to Roblox and going to spend 2 hours with you. It's just not realistic. But if you can get like 10 minutes and they come back again, it's everyone's just like flicking around, hanging out, chatting with their mates. Like it's not like playing a,
It changed a lot.
yeah.
Like the whole interaction.
It's like going on like Warzone or or Fortnite. Like it's the same energy. It's like you're playing the game, but you're mostly just hanging out with
Social
your mates
interaction.
and
Yeah,
trying
so
to
it's
bully
like-
someone.
The playground, hanging in the playground back in the day, but like the newer version. That's how I always try to explain it to older people.
Yeah, it's like MSN but fun.
Right. But MSN
Yes.
for them is also
They've
too
never
new.
heard of that.
Yeah.
That takes me back.
I think
MSN.
it's funny. Yesterday we had somebody from Genvid on, and they're making this DC Heroes storyline where people can vote on the outcome of the story. And I was thinking, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. You watch the episodes and you vote. But they were also talking about, but then we have our social side, and people are like in camps trying to convince the other people, no, we have to make that choice. We have to make that choice. And it's the same with Roblox. It's, you have the experience, but then it's the hanging around. It's the social aspect that actually elevates it to something that's more of a community thing. And it's so cool.
You see people like role playing, like making stories on it. Like you see people like dressing up as like Doctor Who or something and like making their own Doctor Who episodes inside. It's not is that gaming? I don't know. Like it's
I can
totally
imagine
different thing.
that there's probably a lot of GTA role-playing servers full of Doctor Who.
It's what we used to do with Legos. We used to make videos with like Legos that
That's your
was the one
imagination,
that now there was no different way of making a video than having a camera and moving things. But now you can just record, you can play something in Fortnite or
It's like
Minecraft
those,
or whatever.
Those Minecraft videos where they like remake whole movies. I just think that's so
amazing.
awesome.
It's the kid who did the Lego animation, who then got hired to do Lego animation for
Sony for the Spider-Verse.
the Spider-Verse.
Oh really? That's so cool.
It's which one? Across the Spider-Verse. The second one. I think he did a fan Lego stop motion animation of the first one. And then because the Spider-Verse is just every other universe is different, and it just put his Lego animation in between all the
that's
universes.
awesome community. Like the company embraced the community, and there's still a lot of companies. So I love it that you guys do it. That are still like, no, our IDs.
Yeah.
Wait for them to come out. And they never really interact with the community or like embrace their ideas, right?
Yeah.
So that's super awesome that you guys do that.
Yeah, we think so. I feel like that's the future. Like we'll just see more and more. Like it will get like maybe there's a future where you like release a TV show and then you release like into Fortnite a load of parts from the TV show, and it's like, okay, like we've told one story, you go and tell your own story of it. Like that, I feel like that's where we'll end up.
Or separate lore, or
I don't know. I just kind of think you could see a world where if like you say like you take Doctor Who and like a lot of Doctor Who is built in Unreal Engine, well, you have all those bits now, and you could just take that into UEFN and sort of like suddenly like, oh well, we've got all these parts people can play and make their own stories. And I love that idea of like you'll have like the idea of the creators making their content, and I think you increasingly see like the sort of community is making their own like It's like fan fiction, but like 3D animated fan fiction. It's kind of wild what the future is.
Don't send cease and desists like Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's getting tricky.
Phrasing it as 3D fan fiction is probably the best description I've heard.
Yeah. I'm like very excited about this. The lawyers are just like pulling their hair out going like,
That's all right.
this is not the brave future.
I can imagine.
But maybe there's a future also where people make money out of that. Like maybe there's like a license, like maybe, you know, you pay to do that. Like maybe it's a subscription service. Like there's loads of different, I feel like the future of this stuff is like, we don't really know how it will play out. It doesn't necessarily mean it is like going to be like all pirated. It could be that people start to
it's not
license it.
Purely pirated. It's more of like, hey, you're using our IP. That's copyright protected because that's lawyers, right?
Yeah.
They're like protecting everything, but it's like, no, embrace them. Like the Lego guy, like hire them, like
they're only adding
interact with
value
them.
to you.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of companies still underestimate that because they're always like, no, our stuff, and that's
very protective.
Yeah, very protective, and that's a bit tricky. So I really like the ideas that you're.
Were you a gamer before coming into the job, or?
Yeah, I was a gamer who stopped being a gamer. Like the pandemic got me back into gaming.
I got like classic story.
Yeah, exactly. I got but then I was terrified. I got really good at FIFA for a bit, and like, but I play it so badly. I'm like, I don't know how to do any of the skill moves, but I feel like I just really annoy these kids who can play it well because they're like doing all the skill moves, and all I can do is pass and shoot. But
so you're getting screamed at by like 12-year-olds in the public lobby.
Yeah, they're being beaten by someone who played like FIFA 98. So so it's like there were no skill moves, but you know, I am good at passing and shooting.
Maybe we should add an online mode to FIFA 98 and let's see who's the better one now.
No, the best thing is like sometimes like when I do win, it's even more upsetting. I think because it's like this person who's like half playing a game. Like it's like there's no like.
That's the worst. I lost from my wife in Tekken because I mean she just goes like bam, bam. She just hits one button and I was trying to do all the trickery and she still beats me. That's the worst thing.
That is really, yeah. Although I played my wife will kill me. She doesn't game and we played. Have you ever played A Way Out?
Oh yes, we love A Way Out.
Did you play it with your partner, or have you played it with your partner ever?
No, she doesn't really game. So
my partner doesn't either. We played it during lockdown, during the dark when there was nothing else to do. And it was great. I mean, we got to the end, and there's I don't know. Is it a spoiler?
It is a spoiler, but
it's been out for a while now.
So that ending, and my wife has never played a video game in her life before, and we got to and you build like because you work together so much, you really build like a relationship and kind of like and it ended like the twist happened, and you have to betray each other. And like something just like the teenager in me took over, and I just shot her in the back of the head straight away. And she was still like working out what was happening, and I was just like, and we haven't played a video game since.
You're gonna get slack.
Oh, you should have played their other game. It Takes Two. Yeah, you can't kill each other in that game.
Oh, okay. As long as there's a happy ending in that one, and she was like really. Yeah.
Well, there is one scene in that game that's. So unexpectedly gruesome.
They're one of the best studios in my opinion right now because they still take couch co-op. That's what they call it.
I really miss that when those
but that's the only thing they make.
Oh really?
Yeah. So they're the one after A Way Out, It Takes Two. It also won a lot of awards. Right?
Yeah, it's one of the best games of that year.
I recommend that.
I don't know why they get rid of couch co-op and everything
because everybody is at home.
Yeah, it's easier to sell online than it is to do local.
But I don't know why you can't just have it as like an option. Like it's so frustrating.
Because it's very expensive to build.
Maybe. Okay, I don't know. I'm always just like Gears of War had it, and I was like, this is so nice.
In optimization, it's just double the work because you're doing double the render, you're doing double the computing. So that's why it's a little bit more heavy. But in most cases, as a developer myself, I think it's easier because you don't have to do network code. You don't have to do anything internet-wise. It's there. So I've built couch co-op games because I just love the genre so much. I love getting together with friends and playing all night. Like I just usually just buy a lot of beat 'em up games, wait until I invite some people, and then we clear them in one go because that's just fun.
It's kind of fun to have in the room when you can be like shout. We were playing the new Call of Duty of like the zombies level, and it's like that. Maybe I didn't work it out properly, but it was really you could do co-op. But you had to also go into an online lobby at the same time. So you're playing it with like, I was playing my wife again, and her one video game of the year. And we just were like on with these like 3 other people in the lobby, and they always be like, who the fuck are these people? Like, who are these really bad people at video games? And we would much rather have like a quiet, because we just kept dying.
We're having a date night.
They just
here.
kept rescuing us, and we were just like, look, we've got to like round 4. It's like time to let us go.
Yeah.
Like we're not helping you guys here. Like,
aren't you doing like a speed run of all the Easter eggs? And you're like, what now?
Easter eggs?
Yeah.
Can we just shoot zombies? Yeah, but that's a bit of an issue. I think couch co-op, I think the accessibility for kids, like just go home, be in their safe zone, because they still do the kind of couch co-op because they all have their webcams on, great ass mics. So it sounds like you're close to each other. That's at least how we did it in COVID as well, right? Like second screen, have everybody on the screen. So you feel like you're close to each other. So I think everybody just got used to the easiness of it all. Your parents don't have to come pick you up in another village, or
I guess you can have like enough people to like, you're not fighting over controllers. I remember you used to be like, it was like 8 people around 2 controllers. But that kind of made it more fun. It like made it more like an event. Like,
who got the real controller and who got the
G-Shock?
Yeah, exactly. You play with this one.
buttons hanging out of it.
Yeah. But you really need to check out It Takes Two. It's about like a divorced couple and their kid.
They want to get divorced.
They want to get divorced, and then their kid wishes them to get back together, so they become like tiny puppets, and they have to get back to the real world.
They have to work together.
together.
That's really nice.
But
so the storyline makes a lot of sense.
You've never played a game like that.
Yeah.
Every time you think, well, that was a fun game, they can wrap it up. Then they introduce new mechanics and it's a completely new game.
I think I've played a few thousand games in my life. It's in my top 10 games of all time.
Really?
So
it's so good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And we're all looking forward to their next one.
Yeah.
But they haven't announced anything yet.
No, but they recently did reveal something about it. Like 2 weeks ago, we talked about it because It Takes Two sold 20 million copies. It was now announced. So it's one of the biggest games, and deservedly so.
So now there's Fortnite and Roblox. Do you have anything like envisioned for like what's next? Or is it like these work for now? Or do you have somebody watching that, like trend watchers? Or
yeah, we look for new platforms like all the time. So we sort of look a lot into also what's like happening in Asia. Like, is it called Capeto? Or there's another sort of rising platform there. We're kind of curious to see. I mean, I think for me, what we're
Zepeto, I know
Zepeto,
Zepeto, yeah. It's like a creation tool where you can customize your characters and then you can make tiny videos with them. That's basically it.
Yeah.
But it's very big in Korea, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And we look at those more like, not necessarily to go onto them, but think like, well, what can we do?
prototyping?
Should we be building? We are thinking about, we think, should we have games on our platforms? Like, that's the question we keep asking ourselves. Like, should we be having, and it could be very simple games. Like, should we be having more simple we've done like a Traitors game. It's quite a simple interactive web game. And then I think the thing we're most looking at is what happens with platforms like Roblox. Like, do they become more than just like a gaming entertainment platform? Like, are they the metaverse? They are the metaverse.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
like, what?
They're the definition of a metaverse these days, right?
Yeah. And we're a public broadcaster, so we have to, again, it's much like the election. Like, well, is there a world where you have a news program on or a news game on Roblox? Do you have like a mental health game? Or like, do you start to have those options?
I think they did that in the Netherlands, like the news in Roblox for like kids.
Exactly. And it's like, where do those, we're kind of more interested in what's going to happen with the users. Like, how will they change the platform? Because it won't be like, if you think, I think Roblox will follow like TikTok's. They're very similarly trajectory. Where TikTok started as a dance platform and now it's an everything platform. Like, you go to TikTok for entertainment, you go for it for news, you go for it for recipes, you go for it for like.
It's everything. Very underestimated. A lot of our listeners are like, let's say 30 plus. So for them, it's still like the dancing platform. But I think it's a very underestimated.
It's the app for kids.
Yeah, and I'm an avid user, so I use it for gaming news and stuff like that.
Well, there's a really great quote from Google from 2 years ago, so it must be even more true now, I think, which is they did this, one of their studies, they said, showed that 40% of Gen Z used TikTok to find a restaurant over Google.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, it makes total sense, but I'm like, that's nuts that Google is being disrupted. Like you may have a generation that doesn't Google.
I thought, I think it already surpassed the TikTok is now the top search engine
for Gen Z. Yeah. It makes sense because you want to like see, you trust it more, don't you? Because you can see it in its video and you trust it rather than you try and find like a recipe on like Google and it's like, welcome to SEO hell.
Yeah.
And like, whereas but again, it's, for us, like Google Broadcast, well, oh God, wow. How do we change? How do we adapt to this new reality? And we're now our news program is really big on TikTok now. We're like one of the biggest publishers and it's grown really quickly. Yeah. But like 3 years ago, we weren't.
Yeah, but
we were on it, and now because the platform's changed, we've changed.
But that's crazy. Such a big company that's adapting to these new technologies, right? Because for such a big company that is new, even though Fortnite's now 10 years old, but it's become a marketplace / metaverse 3-4 years ago. I think that they introduced like the open
creative,
creative.
It's that. It's always that moment of when do you enter? Because it's like there are times when the platforms aren't ready for you. And when they start, the audience is changing. It's trying to find that moment where you think actually we can.
And also, like, is it worth the cost? Like, will Fortnite die in a year? We just invest, let's say, a couple of mil in it. Like, is it going to die within a year? I mean, that must be super important to companies like the BBC. So I can totally understand that vision as well. But Fortnite and Roblox really showed that, like, they're here to stay for now.
Yeah.
Because everybody kept saying, oh, now it's done, now it's done. No, it isn't. It keeps growing. Well, now it's pretty stable, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah, they're all stable or growing, like not crazy rates. I think Roblox grew like 20% last year.
We don't have COVID increases anymore.
Yeah, but they're still like huge. Yeah. And we exactly what you said. We start small. So we do quite small experiments and then we go like, okay, we did Fortnite. We saw that actually the thing that was really important to us that people were spending a lot of time in our game. Like they spend like 10, 15 minutes. And we're like, okay, that's a lot of time.
For kids, that is,
When we think, oh, great to get 20 seconds of a TikTok video. Yeah. So we're like, oh, this is amazing. We should really invest more in this. And that's what led us to Roblox. And we're like, okay, well, Roblox, we think we can get a really big audience. And we've had like 2 million plays of our experience.
And Fortnite, that's a creative map or?
Yeah, we have 2 Fortnite creative maps. We have like another Fortnite creative map coming out soon, which I'm excited about. So keep an eye out in December. I think we'll have something cool. So we have 2. We don't have a permanent space in Fortnite. Fortnite, we sort of pop up and pop out of. It kind of works better. Whereas Roblox, we're there all year. We do an update every 2 weeks. Add a new brand.
So you have a dedicated team for? Well, you said we
work with an amazing developer called Mobile Pie, who are like a UK-based developer. They also like do Cartoon Networks and stuff like that. So they're really cool. And we have like a dedicated Roblox team who it's a lot more work than we realized it was going to be. Like we were like, oh, we'll just launch it, and then you could keep adding and adding levels because otherwise, people come and play it, and then they won't come back if you're not offering something new every couple of weeks. So you have to keep updating it over and over and over.
I think it's also probably easy for parents when they see they're playing something that is co-produced by the BBC. Like, oh, BBC must be a quality thing, therefore go on ahead. Because I mean, for parents who don't know anything about gaming or Roblox,
that's like Fortnite. A verified badge. Like, okay, that makes sense. That's been checked, right? So it makes a lot of sense.
And we've designed our game so it's like not like an addictive game. It's not. It's not designed. It's like supposed to be like kind of a bit more relaxed. It's not. It's still fun and it's still entertaining, but it's not like kind of like
you have to log in every day for a quest and XP and
there's no Skinner boxing.
I mean, we do give free items away sometimes, but that's kind of nice. And it's like giving stuff back to the fans.
There's probably a lot of lawyers who had to check through all the laws because of European Union is. Oh well, you guys aren't anymore. Never mind.
No, there's a lot of all these projects take a lot of take quite a lot of our legal teams are great, and we have to think how do we work with like lots of different IPs and different things like that. So it's kind of it does take a lot of like work to get those in place. But the nice thing about having like this permanent space is now it's up and running, so it takes a lot more work than just like the Roblox one took. The Fortnite creator maps will take a couple of months to build. The Roblox one took like 9 months, I think, because there was so much, like, maybe the production time was only 4 or 5 months, but there were so many different things you had to sort out. And, you're building all the UK's most famous people. So, you need to kind of like get them, like, get them on board and show, and they want to see how they're represented. They want to be happy. So it's
their managers have to clear everything as well.
Yeah, they themselves have to clear it. Like, and so it's amazing sort of, teaching. I can explain Roblox very well now, it's fair to say, after a year of telling people about it. But once it's up and running, even if you have to do an update every week, which is a lot of work, you're not building a game every week. So it means, like, if we want to do the election, we can decide in 2 weeks' notice we'll have an election game, because we're just adding to the game now.
Very scalable now.
Yeah, so it kind of lets you just do more things. And we've done stuff like we've announced, like, contestants in, like, our famous TV shows, like dancing shows within it.
Dancing with the Stars and what?
Yeah, we have Strictly Come Dancing, which is like the original Dancing with the Stars. Like, we started in the UK, then it got franchised out.
So Simon Cowell is in every game, or isn't he?
That's not BBC.
No. My bad. Sorry.
No. Who do we have in that? We have Gary Lineker, who's like a very famous footballer, or who's famous that we've got in our. We've famous documentarians like Louis Theroux, or
Louis.
So
love him.
Louis is in our game. You can go say hello to Louis.
I think I've seen him tweet about it, and because he never tweets, right? And suddenly I saw something. I was like, I need to check.
Wait a minute,
but I forgot.
Well, yeah, you can go say hello to Louis. He's kind of.
I want to see him game. Didn't his rap video go super viral on TikTok?
Yeah, jiggle jiggle.
Oh man, I love that. I bought the dance in Fortnite. My money don't jiggle. It folds.
I know. A friend of mine claims the origin story. He's like, I was the person who found that clip and put it on TikTok.
Really?
But who knows? Maybe that's a myth.
That's because of a claim.
The one that really went viral is where the woman, I don't know her name,
Amelia. That's what my friend claims. He put the clip out, and Amelia saw it. So he was like, I incepted the viral jiggle jiggle.
Oh man, I love it. Getting that dance on Fortnite, that's bonkers. I love it. I bought it instantly.
Yeah, but I think he loves it because it gets him in front of new audiences. It's like the whole new generation of finding his documentaries through.
Yeah, this. Makes a lot of sense. He doesn't seem like what is video games. He doesn't seem like he could care about it, but he obviously always is super genuine, interested in everything, right? So it's probably not something that he did before, and now he's like interested in it, I guess.
I think Louis said before, he's like, I'm sure I heard an interview of him that he was like, I just always wanted to be a rapper, and like, he's thanks to TikTok, he kind of is, I suppose. He released a single, didn't he?
Oh yeah, My Money Don't You?
Oh, well, yeah.
I think we even quoted it on our podcast. It's an epic song. So since you're working for youth, like let's say Peaky Blinders Brawler, is that like tricky for BBC or?
I mean, it's not like a show that's with us anymore. It is completed and wrapped. So if you wanted to do like a Peaky Blinders, like you would have to. I mean, like all these sorts of like, it would be the same process as the things we've done in Fortnite, where we would go and approach them and say like, hey, we've got a cool creative idea. We think this could work. Like, do you guys, the creators, do you think you would like to do this? And like everything we do, we do it like hand in hand with like the creators and companies that make the show. So like nothing planned with Peaky Blinders. And like,
no, but I mean like I meant especially for like the brawlers, like fighting. Like, is that then of the tricky for to sell it?
I think we think like always like what is like the and it's kind of true of like how we approach other things, which is like what is the audience expectation? So like the audience that's going to watch, I don't know, the Strictly Come Dancing would be like very offended by Drag Race UK. but we have Drag Race UK social media accounts, and they kind of are as rude as the show is, because like, well, that audience expects it. So the people who are expecting it are offended by it. So so you wouldn't like make a beat 'em up Strictly Come Dancing, but I don't know if there was like, I don't know, like a boxing film, well then why wouldn't you have that, because it's being true to the show. So it's kind of like always what is the correct creative idea.
Yeah, we have a lot of issues with that with our where he worked with the VRT, which is like the broadcast of
the violence part of it.
Yeah, like, the violence
they
part.
want to do loads of things with gaming, but as soon as it's anywhere near violent, and they can't use it or mention it or.
Yeah. So
we don't have any violent video games.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are different ways of approaching it. So, do you have to use, like, if you're in Fortnite, do you have to use a machine gun? Could you use a laser gun? Like, there's kind of different approaches, I think.
But they really did that well with the original launch, right? With the, you don't die, you get like zapped away, or what is it?
I mean, I think the thing about Fortnite is, like, I think brands are worried about that, but I think also increasingly, like, brands don't, I'm seeing them more broadly than just us. I think people don't care as much because, like, if you've got Marvel in Fortnite, you have Star Wars, you know, these are like big family brands. Like Disney's a family entertainment company, and they've got skins for people running around shooting. So, I kind of think maybe that's starting to move a bit, because I think, you do hear about, I go talk to some people, like, it's a small community, so you talk to, you're like, oh, we'd love to go into Fortnite, but we'll never get the shooting past our, and you're like, well, it's not real shooting.
Small example, we had the World Championship of Counter-Strike. I don't know if you know the game, one of the biggest esports in the world. We had the World Championship here in Belgium, but they were not really allowed to, like, broadcast anything because it's shooting. And and I get it, but that's what I'm trying to say is, like, do you guys have a lot of restrictions, but apparently you're kind of adapting? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, we have different approaches to it. So if it was on television, we would we look at, so we have, like, lots of very violent TV shows. Like we had Wreck with the Killer Duck, which is like, has a really, like, quite shocking start to it. I have to say, like, it's really like, wow, this is a really quite heavy duty show. And we have, like, a thing called the Watershed in the UK. So we have to sort of, I think it's after 9 or 10, you can sort of show things that are more adult, basically. So we kind of think about that. We use adult warnings, and then, like, generally we sort of don't really ban anything. We just sort of look, is it appropriate to the audience? Is it, like, the right creative idea? And can we put it in front of the right audience? So, but yeah, we are careful also, because you don't also want stuff like, you probably don't want, like, having, I don't know, someone machine gunning, like, a piece of your IP. Like, that's not great. That's not very appropriate. So it's kind of like just trying to find
the right balance.
Yeah, but to your point, though, it is a balance, because you have to, if you take away all the stuff that makes a game great, then why will anyone ever play your game? And so that's always a balance of brands, I think, that you have to sort of try and stay true to yourself and you're being brand safe, but without actually making it so that the game is, like, unplayable, because your game is already probably going to be less fun than the game that other people are making who haven't got restrictions. So if you go too far, and you're like, at a certain point, it's like, well, why am I on this platform? And so it's trying to find the right creative execution for
But that's what Fortnite did really well, right? With the whole creative mode, a lot of brands are, like, doing speed running maps because there's no shooting, and but they're still in Fortnite. So I love that, and I guess that's also why it's so, like, approachable and accessible for companies like BBC, who can, like, do their own thing within the
and it's a free
metaverse.
So and it's accessible to
and it's
everyone.
finally back on iPad. So
exactly, I think that would be huge for it. But yeah, it's finding that flexibility and finding that, like, kind of that sort of space where you kind of show up in a way that feels native to the game. Because if you're, like, just showing up and you're like, the worst thing you can do is, like, spend a lot of time and make something that is just, like, not is good for you but is bad for the audience, and then it's just like, it's a waste of time, because the audience have got nothing out of it. They won't play your game, and they'll probably like everyone's so sharp now, like, kids see, everyone sees past branded content really quickly, so no one wants to just, like, wander around and, like, I don't know, just experience a brand. Like, you want to be entertained. So if you're just doing that and forcing it down people's throats, I think, like, you'll fail. So then you'll spend a ton of money and no one will play your game, and everyone will, like, take shots at you on Twitch.
I think that's one of the most honest answers we've ever had on this question. So we're not going to see Peaky Blinder skins on Warzone, because obviously that's, like, machine gunning someone.
It's nothing to do with me, thankfully. So that's it's owned by the people who. Is it Studio Lambert who own? I can't remember who owns it, but whoever owns it, I mean, they want to, they could do that, I guess. Like, but no, I'm not actively going into Warzone yet.
Yeah,
maybe. Great. I mean, for Warzone are listening, we're
yeah. I'm just trying to get like context, like how far can you go with all the properties? But
I think so. It's much easier to enter spaces where, like, we could, theoretically, through different ways, we could do collaborations with places like Warzone, but because they don't have like that ability to build your own space like Roblox, you kind of also then have to be working with the game, and there's a lot of things that have to fall into place then, and also it's quite hard to build something that's really deep in that context, because really what you're doing is you're like adding on to it, which is really valuable, but it's kind of a different thing, whereas we increasingly want to make things that people will spend time with you, and we do that in Roblox. We do give away avatar items and skins, but we also want to offer a game that you'll come and spend time with and enjoy. And we think that you value that more. You want to add more to the lore and the I guess, or like more to the brand than just. Yeah, you want to expand the world. It's exactly that, and that's kind of like more than just references. Yeah, and just some things are quite superficial. Like some things, like when you've got like a big hub world, it's a bit harder to do that because you're trying to make the game consistent whilst doing lots of different IPs in. But like say like the Fortnite ones, and the one we're working on at the moment is like really, it's so annoying. I'm not talking to you in a month because I can't talk about it. But that one really does feel like it takes, like if you love the show, you will love this, and you'll take so much more from it. But also if you've never seen the show, you'll love it, and maybe you'll go watch the show as well. So I kind of think you can really start to do, I think that's the future. I think that's like where we're going to. Like, I think you in the future at some point, this is like 10 years away, I think there'll be like a point where you can play a video, you'll watch a TV show series, and like halfway through the series, one of the episodes will be a game. And you'll play an episode and then you'll go back. I'm convinced like we'll start to have things like that happen. I don't think it's going to be 10 years. I think we're already close to that. I mean, Netflix experienced with this kind of. Like Bandersnatch, yeah. It's kind of like, where does that
but they're
go
now pulling them all off. They announced it earlier.
Probably right.
Yeah, they're leaving only 4. So I think Bandersnatch is one of the 4 that they're going to leave on. But they had dozens of these interactive stuff. They're all
but they
pulling
didn't market them well. Right?
Yeah, but there was like trivias. There were like interactive shows. There were quizzes. It was all types of things. But they're all stopping with it.
But they also, they're fascinating because you can now play games with your phone on the TV.
Yeah.
And it's like such a huge step forward that's just on your.
And they still suck at advertising that. Like we always say, check the app. There's so many good games on there. Like Into the Breach is an amazing game that's just part of your Netflix subscription. But I don't feel like they ever really advertise that outside. I don't think a lot of people know that they get free games with their Netflix account.
It wasn't the last time they gave out the numbers. It was like 1% of their subscription base is playing the games, which is not a lot of people for the amount of money they're putting into it.
Licensing.
I think it's very early days. I think that's the thing you think about it. Like you have to start somewhere, and they were a TV platform, and I mean we think it's super interesting. They're doing. I mean, everyone's Amazon have got their AAA games. There's loads of sort of
but they make wrong decisions. But but like let's say The Last of Us, that's super accessible, right? It attracts a lot of people to gaming because it's more of a story. A lot of people were angry on social media, like, is this what you've been withholding from us? Like these stories I thought was just about shooting people. And no, there's more to gaming than that. So we're getting into a more, story driven.
Especially once those games stop being just console dependent. So if you're Netflix and you're investing loads in game streaming, and suddenly, as you're saying, like, well, I can host that within a TV SVOD platform, and I can just use my phone as the controller. You're like, well, that does start to open up like that playable TV episode, as you're saying. Like suddenly it's like, oh wow, you can do so much more because you're not trying to make people move from one place to the other. You're just able to drop it in, or maybe it will make everyone furious. But I kind of think those things are really interesting with Netflix. That I think it's going to be
less than 5 years until we got more of that, especially since The Last of Us and what else is coming, like God of War, Horizon,
Fallout.
Fallout. Yes. Also,
I mean, that's interesting what happens with like series that when you've got these big TV shows and you've got the games coming as well. Like there must start to be more of a crossover.
They used to have that like in PlayStation 2 era, right? Like a movie and a game, but the game was always so freaking bad.
Die Hard was good.
Oh yeah, on PS1. That was kind of good.
That's like dating myself.
There are some really good ones.
Of course. But the majority,
Butcher's Bay, the Pitch Black, Riddick.
Yeah, Chronicles of Riddick. Yeah,
that was an influential game. Even it was better than the movie.
Yeah, but that was in the days that gaming was even more taboo, right? So
you need that sort of thing where the game's big enough. There's enough people playing the game that it can make sense to do it into the TV show. Because otherwise, it's like you're making jokes that most of the audience doesn't get. So again, as gaming just gets bigger and bigger, I think we'll see more.
Yeah, but it also depends on how much do you have to control. Like double twin stick is super hard for a lot of people who didn't game before. So like how far do you want to go? Just walk around or just make decisions? You know, you got to really be, looking into all the statistics on how people play video games and what demographics. So I think it's super hard, but I think it's going to be like 5 years tops, especially for shows like The Last of Us or something where you can do mini games in there. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
but I really love it that you guys do that much already. I didn't know.
Yeah, well,
I think you're one of the few then, right?
There's lots of I thought we're always surprised that we keep meeting more and more people who are like doing like amazing things. Like I think like who's like Wimbledon. I was like, oh my god, you guys do so much cool stuff.
Somebody mentioned this.
Yeah, Wimbledon. Then they have esports and they have a Fortnite. There's just like I was like, God, Wimbledon. I just think they do such interesting stuff.
Vrij zeker van niet.
Nee.
Had u papieren mee? Sorry.
He
lost his laptop. So.
Oh, maybe I get a free laptop then.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, no, I think there's. I mean, ITV have done stuff. VRT are doing like loads of great stuff. So there's like loads. It's more. It's just growing quick because it's so much easier to get into these things.
Yeah,
now.
but it's probably just not for our demographic yet. I think that's the problem because we're like the millennials, so we have our vision on what gaming is and not the approachable gaming that you guys are working on. So I think we just kind of missed that.
Yeah, I
it's
think
not
that's totally
in our
true.
interest. So that's why I always say like I didn't know because it's not targeted for us, right? Yeah. Even though we try to cover everything, but I literally didn't know. So
it's kind of trying for gaming so big, isn't it? I think like that's for sure. That's what's exciting now is that you have like the whole mobile gaming. You have the Fortnite, you have AAA, you have indie games. Like you've kind of got it's almost too big to cover. It's like a whole.
Yeah, but that's crazy because gaming has been one of the biggest markets for years, and all the companies were so blindsided by it because they never knew because it was for nerds, right? I mean, that's very.
I think because the early attempts in the 80s, for instance, every company was working on games.
Yeah.
Like everybody, Disney, BBC, even with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and stuff.
And we've had web games for years on our children's channels.
So, but I don't think they ever got the results out of it that they needed.
Or expected.
Because it was still a separate entity, but now you're getting that cross media, you're getting that cross contamination where you have people from the games going to the other side. Well, in the past it was only one directional. Now what you do with Roblox is actually getting people from the Roblox community to your platform, to other platforms, and that's the difference. I think in the past they saw like games were being used as a way to make some money, but I don't think they ever had to flow in another direction. It was very one directional, and now I think it's both directions.
And it was just really hard and expensive to make games, like and to make games of like you can make games of such higher, like if you. On one hand, the challenge is that you're not on your own platform. So like the best case scenario is that you have like your own massive game that it's yours and you can do whatever you want with it and you own the audience, but it's so expensive. It's so hard to do. Whereas actually if you're on like Fortnite and Roblox, you can make something amazing in like a weekend. And you can, and because all the building blocks is done for you. So you can suddenly like not worry about the creative, the technical side of it as nearly as much. Still some considerations, but ultimately you can quite quickly build something. You don't need to.
Nearly everyone can do it.
Yeah, and so if you're a brand, it's so much easier to get into it, and also your development times are so much quicker and shorter, and it's so much cheaper. So you can go like, if you say to your boss like, "Oh, give me load of money for something that has a good chance of failing. But if it wins, we win the lottery. But it's going to take like 3 years to happen. And you've got to be thinking that far ahead. It's a huge ask. Whereas if you go like, oh, actually,
it's like 500 grand versus give us like 80 million. It's like trade-off.
And
not factual numbers.
Yeah.
But it's like it's crazy, and it's even for teenagers who try to get into game development. They build a creative map in Fortnite. They get paid for it, which is crazy, and they get paid pretty well. So suddenly they have like bank, and they can. It sparks interest and sparks the creativity as well. I think it's a really underestimated platform for that as well. But most people still is like, ugh, Fortnite kids.
I went to the Roblox developer conference this year in the States, and there were like 17-year-olds. Well, I can't remember who they were. There were 17-year-olds in Lamborghinis, like driving around. There were like multimillionaires, people making £30 million a year from who were just teenagers, and all they'd done is they just built games. And you're like, this is such like, as you said, because before you would build games, but you would just build them for your
classmates.
I clearly made all the wrong choices.
And you might, and you also means that if it's that creator economy, because you don't longer have to go like, I will start making games. I'll go work for a development company. I'll go to university. I'll work for a development company, and eventually one day I might own my own company, and like that, and I have to get fined. It's like, well, actually, I can just
venture capitalists, and
I think it's like being a social media creator. I make a ton of games. One of them hits.
And
I can build, and it's really exciting. It's really nice that you kind of got this democratized, whilst also still having like the AAA game world existing, and kind of like you can kind of have both of these things exist. Yeah.
That's why I was saying, like, you have that part that we don't know much about, let's be honest. And then we have what we know about video games, like the olds and the AAAs, and we try to cover all of that. And it's crazy because it's really underestimated by companies. That's what I was trying to say. It's like a lot of people, they all think of like the old games that were based on movies, and they all sold pretty okay, but it's worth the investment, but not really, because you can make money way easier now with stuff like Roblox and Fortnite. But a lot of people don't understand yet, and don't want to risk the investment. But like you said, it's way cheaper. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's also changing quickly. Like, you know, you are seeing, I think Roblox, they told, again, at this conference, they were like, they have more than one brand a day launches on Roblox every day now. And, you know,
that's not even that much. I thought it was going to be more.
But but that's on top of the ones that are there already.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, and they're all like really, you know, there's a Gucci world, there's a Netflix world. Yeah. Gucci world sold bags for like $3,000 on there. It's bonkers. And you know, but you're right. I think it will start an avalanche, and like there will come a point where it will be a bit like not having these spaces is like not having a website. Like you have to have it. Like,
it happened in Second Life, if you still remember that.
Oh yeah,
that was the first metaverse, basically, right? It
still exists.
Yeah, I saw a YouTube video on that. That you can still log in because people literally
can still buy
like
properties,
$1 million for property, and so that's what I meant earlier. Like, it's tricky because you never know what's going to be, what's going to happen to the platform, because Second Life just suddenly disappeared, right? But Fortnite and Roblox keep reinventing themselves, and that's crazy.
And you also don't know what the next platform will be. Like, you know,
everybody tries to be the next platform,
but there always is another platform, like TikTok. Who could have predicted that TikTok would be the size it is now?
Well, we had the same with Vine, which was a TikTok of all that. Yeah, super interesting. So you have a very interesting job, I guess.
So do you guys. Like, this is fantastic.
Well, this is a hobby, actually, sadly. He's a game developer, Jerre. So, but I'm a developer as well, but in another niche. I do apps and stuff like that. So yeah, we do, but we all love gaming. So that's why we do this, right?
Yeah.
We are a pure gaming podcast. So
Well, I'm honored to be. I never thought I'd be asked onto a gaming podcast. So I'm honored to be here.
You obviously have a super interesting. Well, I was going to say niche, but it's not a niche. It's insanely big. So, how many users? 2 million that you said?
So we have 2 million on Roblox. Yeah,
2 million. Wow. Okay, yeah, that's crazy.
But it's a lot. Yeah, we're really pleased with it. But you know, we want to. You know, it's the nature of like we're a big broadcaster, so we think if you haven't got big numbers. People aren't listening to you. So,
but that's like, how much is it? Like a fifth of our country. So, well, nearly 6. But still, that's insane numbers, right? Because you target 15 to 33, or you do 9 to 15.
I do so generally I don't go lower. So normally I do 13 to 34-year-olds.
Okay,
this Roblox one was basically
9, 15.
It's younger because our children's department and us were both like that Spider-Man meme. We're like, we both want to do Roblox, so we're like, okay, let's join forces.
Right.
And
okay.
And we got to. That's why we managed to get so many like big brands like Doctor Who in it together.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I adore your story, and I wish you the best of luck. But you're obviously doing it, so I'm really keen on seeing what's next.
Cool. Well, I hope, hopefully back on Twitch again sometime soon.
Yeah, and on YouTube. So we're gonna cut your whole talk separately, and also upload that on our YouTube as a separate talk. You can reference and you can show your wife, but you don't want her to watch, or partner. You don't want to watch it probably because you.
No, I mean she was there when the incident happened, so I'm not sure she's forgiven me. But
you're gonna get slack for that for 20 years. I made a mistake like that about 10 years ago. Still mentioned a lot. Mentioned a lot. All right, I appreciate your time.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yes.
Good luck.
Have a lot of fun today.
Good luck with your epic stream.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.